Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Tamara Bucky, and this is the Raise Your Own Bar podcast. We are all about helping people improve their lives, their businesses, and their futures. Today, I have the special opportunity to interview Marc Bynum. Marc is an IT support specialist, he's an artist, he's a creator, and he is a musician. I'm so excited to have you today, Marc. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. It's so good to get a chance to chat with you.
Oh, it's good. It's good to chat with you too.
So, Marc, you have done so many things in your life, and currently you find yourself in the IT field. Tell me about how did you get into this field?
Kicking and screaming. Um, no, so when I got out of high school and exited the army, I spent 3 years in the army. I needed to make money, and really, it was a very easy transition from whatever I was doing, which I started out in customer service on a green screen computer, filling orders, checking orders, and I saw this really neat thing. It was called software carousel, and what it did is allowed you to change programs on a Windows, or not even a Windows, a Microsoft DOS based system. So you could switch from one program to the other. It would freeze those programs. And so while I was doing my work on customer service, I got a hold of this application, and I worked for a catalog fulfillment company. It was called DAK Industries, and they sold all kinds of crazy things, uh, antennas, electronics, bread makers. I think my first support job was tech support for bread makers. So then I moved into software support, and then I got a job aside from that. I was working two jobs at the time, about 60 hours a week, for a company called Packard Bell Computers. So, and then from there, I mean, I just started doing more and more stuff, trying to reach a little bit higher into the hierarchy of software, basically.
That's awesome. So, if I remember correctly, you did not go to college. You took the non-traditional route and you pretty much educated yourself based on what was available to you, along with some certs and things.
I did go to college, but I dropped out because I didn't really agree with the courses that I was required to take. I didn't feel like spending $10,000 on a course that really didn't have anything to do with my interests or my my diploma. I mean, yes, you got to take this course to get your diploma. Well, I mean, in my opinion, it was kind of like basket weaving. It was a lot of social studies courses, but I mean, they were just inconsequential to me. They didn't really mean anything. So yeah, I dropped out after my third year, I think. I just got done with it.
I
So
completely understand because I remember when I was in undergrad, just the number of courses I had to take that I had no interest for, that did not line up with my degree program in any way, and I just had to muscle through them because they were required. And if you want to check the box and meet the requirement, then you do it. But if not, if you're brazen and you have skills and you believe in yourself, you drop out and you go and do your own thing. And I have several friends that are college dropouts that are more successful than me, make more money. A couple of them that are they're pushing towards 1 billion, which is pretty fantastic.
no, that is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I listen. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I could have pushed myself a lot harder, but I like my life now. I mean, I have the free time I want. And if I do decide to dive in a little bit deeper, I can do that. As a matter of fact, I kind of have to in the near future. But up until this point, I've been able to manage pretty much any lifestyle I wanted.
I
So
love that.
that's been a good thing.
And I've been to your house, so I know, you have a nice place. You've got a pool. You live in a quaint little town in a good neighborhood, and you're living the dream that a lot of people wish they could achieve here in the United States. So kudos to you. And, thank you for sharing your journey with me. The cool thing is, you also get a chance to do so many other things because you've set yourself up with your job. And just to clarify for listeners, he works 40 hours a week. He works his own schedule remotely from his jammies at home, and is done by what, 2:30 every day?
Oh, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Oh, he gets
1 o'clock, 1:30.
and then he can go and do whatever else. And Mark, I know some of that stuff includes music, acting, producing, and then also getting involved with your local community, try to be involved in change and bring about growth to the city of Rome, Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do a lot. For instance, we just got a new streaming service for our movies. So I have to get all the movies ready for that, get them sent out. Right now I'm trying to find somebody to finance the marketing for it, but you know, um, there are a couple of things that I'm working on. There's another movie that I might be producing in the near future.
Mm.
There's going to be some music production too once certain things gel out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, really, the sky's the limit. It's just, basically, it's a matter of how much time I want to take to do it. And, uh, I think in the near future, there's going to be a lot more work for me. It won't just be the till 1 p.m. thing. I'll be working until 6 or 7 o'clock at night, just getting stuff done.
Mm. Well, I want to hear more about these movies. I've had the opportunity to check out some of your work, but I'm not familiar with your complete volume of what you have available for our listeners if they wanted to watch something that you.
Well, so they're just about to go up on Freebie. They're on Tubi right now. Amazon, YouTube. I think we're on YouTube. But they're really they're B horror movies, and they're kind of tongue in cheek, but they're Gangsters and Zombies. I produced 2 and 3. There's also a one which isn't as good because I didn't produce it, obviously. And then there's a documentary we've done called Last Breath of Freedom, which I'm really proud of that one. That one took a lot of work in it too. We actually went to Daytona, we went to Dragon's Tail, we went all over the place for that one, and we got some really good footage. We got some really good interviews.
And that one's a documentary.
Yeah, that one's a documentary.
Yeah, that's the one that I had the opportunity to check out. Really cool when you get to dabble in different genres, and I aspire to be like that. I do that myself in some ways with just bouncing around between music and comedy and writing and whatever my heart's content when it comes to being creative. Didn't you just do a play not too long ago as well?
I've been involved with our theater here in Rome, the community theater. It's very, very time consuming, and as much as I love it, I can't do it right now because of the early hours that I wake up to cover the European market. So, but yeah, we're always doing plays here. We also had a film festival here that typically I'm involved in, but again, this year I wasn't able to do it because of financial considerations. But I mean, I try and stay involved in pretty much everything here. A lot of the
Mhm.
restaurants, a lot of the I try and help out when I can when there are charity events. So
Rome, Georgia is such a quaint little town. I love it. It's so cute. The downtown area is just so fun to spend a Saturday afternoon walking around and shopping and checking out all of the different places to eat and things like that. So if you haven't checked out Rome, Georgia, definitely put it on your list. It's worth it for an overnight or even just a day trip, depending on where you live. It's only what, 2 hours from me, I think.
yeah, 2 hours from Huntsville. It's an hour and a half from Atlanta, an hour from Chattanooga. I mean, it's a pretty central place. We also have the world's largest college campus.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Berry College is 28,000 acres of campus and environmental preserve.
Oh, wow.
Lots of
So,
hiking. You can get lost, literally.
yeah, I think I probably would because I'm terrible with navigation. So, I love that you're able to manage your work and your hobbies. That's important because as we get older, there's this tendency for people to let go of their hobbies and just work and just, take care of the family. And there's a lot of work involved with doing those things. So people are tired and they don't have it in them to continue with their hobbies. But I would encourage everyone to do that, even in the smallest capacity, because it really helps to kind of keep you going. At least it does for me. It like fuels me.
No, I totally agree. And to be honest with you, if from a personal point of view, my dad he he moved here from California, and I had to go somewhere else because I just had to work somewhere. I couldn't work here at the time. There weren't the kinds of opportunities there are now. So I moved to Philadelphia, and my dad lived here. And after my mom passed, he just kind of sat here and he didn't do anything. I'm pretty sure that's what ended his life. I mean, he lived a very, very nice life and passed at 83. But I vowed to myself that I wouldn't let that happen to me. I do not want to be sitting in my easy chair, um, 7 nights a week and and dying before you really die. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
You kind of give up before you die, and well, that's just no way to go. So,
When you see people that their purpose is driven by their work and then they retire and they have nothing to focus on, and you see it in all kinds of industries, but I've seen so many people just decline rapidly after leaving the workforce. And I want people to retire. I want people to be able to enjoy their retirement because they've worked so hard all their lives, and their retirement should be filled with fun experiences, not just sitting around watching TV, like you said, or withering away because you're bored and you have nothing to do. Like that's why you have to have your hobbies and you have to have things outside of work.
well, I've already got my application into Walmart for the greeter position, just so you know.
Is that going to be your retirement or what?
Well, I mean,
Retirement?
really, you know what? If nothing else, I mean, I just can't see sitting in my house or piddling around. I mean, gardening is great, but that's just not who I am. Um, Talking to plants and getting no response. I mean, I might as well be a comedian, right?
Hey, the plants listen. The plants listen and laugh when I tell them jokes, but no, they put out more tomatoes.
I'm saying a bad comedian. Just you know me.
Well, I've been trying to get you into comedy for ages, but
I need to start writing some stuff. I do. I have put it off way too long. I can write funny stuff. I can write really good stuff, but I've got to be in the mood for it, and that's not how you write. You got to write whether you're in the mood or not.
ooh, now that is an interesting topic. Let's dive deeper into that because you're 100% right. If you want to be a writer, you have got to be able to write whether you're in the mood or not. Whether the muse is here or not, you have to be able to produce.
Hmm.
How do you do it?
No, and I'm gonna need you to teach me that one. Because no, literally, I mean, every once in a while, I'll get a bug up my butt and I want to write something, and I will. I'll write something. I'll write some really good stuff, and then I'll sit down one day and I'll go, maybe I should write something, and then I'll think to myself, nah. So I need to get that kind of a motivation or figure out how to motivate myself to do it when I'm not in the mood to do it.
Well, for me, the way that I keep myself going and it's discipline. Discipline is a muscle, of course. But I'll schedule time for me to write. It's on my calendar, and if I don't feel like it, if I'm not inspired in any way, there's a couple things I do. One is revisit old writing, because
Hmm.
revisiting old writing, I will start to edit, and then from there I will be inspired to write something else. Like even if it's just to expand on what I did in the previous topic or whatever, but that's a good way. And then the second thing was just a free write, where I literally will write, and I've done this with pencil as well as typing. I type these days now, but I'll just type, even like I have no idea what to talk about. I have no idea what to write about. Today was boring. My dog is getting on my nerves. Like I'll just start just kind of like letting my thoughts out, and then eventually it will turn into something, and then I will end up writing about a specific topic, and I'll keep it all because you know, it's good to see the process. Back in the day, I used to do it on paper. And I would even start where I would just be writing loops where I'm not even writing words, I'm just doodling. And then the doodles would eventually turn into words. And then that would eventually turn into something cohesive.
That's interesting. Let's see. I'm just trying to think of the last thing. The last thing I wrote was years ago, so I just need to sit down and do it. That's all there is to it. I mean, I've got some ideas, you know. I mean, there are times where I'll think funny stuff, and I've sent some of them to you. You know, I mean, crappy little jokes, yeah, like 10-second jokes, but I just need, you know what I need to do is I need to sit down and do an afternoon of 20-second jokes, just one-liners, back to back. I think that would be a good exercise.
I did a writing exercise yesterday where I set a timer and I looked at headlines on Yahoo News and I wrote jokes based on headlines for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And I was able to write, I'm like, I had a little bit over a page of ideas. Out of that, there might be three like workable jokes. But it's the exercise, right? Because
right.
not everything you write is going to be a hit. And with comedy in particular, I think they say if you write 100 jokes and you have one good one, then that's good.
It's all the process, right? I mean, it's the journey,
Yeah.
you know. It's from one sentence to the next. It's always a journey, and that journey doesn't always lead you where you want to go, but it's a journey.
Yeah. Well, and I find that that's really what matters, right? It's not about the destination in most scenarios. It is about the journey. And
Yeah.
I used to be very goal oriented with the destination, not the journey. So I've had to adjust as I've grown, as I've experienced and learned. Um, so that way I can enjoy it more, because I used to get this sense of I'm not going to be able to relax until I get there or achieve the thing or whatever the circumstance is. But that's not good. You should be able to relax and enjoy and have a good experience from start to finish.
You've been taking some car trips lately, haven't you?
Um, I haven't really, well, I did go up to Ohio and back in October, but that's it. I haven't done any.
You drove out to Texas not too long ago too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I remember my first cross country drive. I drove from Georgia to California. Georgia to California? Tennessee. It was Tennessee. It was when I got out of the army, and that was the first time really driven cross country. And I didn't get in a hurry. I really wanted to get home, see my mom and dad. I wanted to see all my family, and I was like, well, yeah, but Tucson. Tucson was fun. I had a blast in Tucson. There were a couple of other cities I stayed in, and that was when I actually learned that, hey, you need to stop and smell the flowers. You need to meet people, go to a bar, go to a restaurant, wherever, and talk to people that you don't know that you'll never see again. But those are the kinds of experiences, and I think that's obviously that's the way I feel about writing, and that's why I haven't done it.
Well, maybe you need a road trip to get you in the
I
mood.
think I think that would be good.
Honestly.
I think that would be good. And if I actually, yes, if I actually publish something, that would be tax deductible too.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Research.
so I have to share this with you and with the audience. But, I've been working on a book for ever and a day, and the book is done essentially, but I hate it, and so I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'm gonna rework it. I started to rework it a little bit, but then I kind of got frustrated and gave up, and I've had other stuff going on, so it's been sitting on the back burner. So the other day, Andrew and I went for a walk. Saturday, we went for a walk, and he's like, "Why haven't you published your book?" And I gave him all these reasons, and I told him about all these things, and he's like, "All I'm hearing are excuses." And I'm like, I thought we were just going for a walk. What is happening? Like, why are you grilling me like this? Like, I was getting really upset. And because for one, he's not wrong. I can give you 15 excuses right now why my book is not published. And he's trying to encourage me to publish it, even though I'm not comfortable with it, which I don't agree with. But he's like, who have you let read it to know if it's good or not? I have multiple beta readers that are ready to go, and I just haven't sent it because I'm the book is about imposter syndrome, and my imposter syndrome is preventing me from sending the damn book to my friends. And so this is what we came up with. This is what we came up with. He said, he goes, what do I got to do? Do I got to take things away from you for you to get the book done? I said, no, no, no. I said, I work better with a carrot rather than a stick. And he goes, I'll take you to Europe for 2 weeks, wherever you want to go, when you publish this book. So that's a pretty nice incentive for me because I've been wanting to go back to Europe. He and I have both lived in Europe, but we never were in Europe together. So he's willing to take me if I finish my damn book. And
Well, I don't know whether you've thought about this, but the consternation of your publishing the book and the subject matter of the book is probably the most ironic thing I have ever heard in my life.
ironic or completely apropos. Let's
No, ironic.
No. I think it makes perfect sense. I don't think it's ironic at all. I think it makes perfect sense. And I will
So the subject matter covers imposter syndrome, right?
yeah.
And you want to publish it so that people understand it, but you don't want to let people read it because
Because I feel like it's not good. Because I because of imposter syndrome that I am still working to overcome. The book is about how to overcome it, how to live with it, how to make it work for you instead of against you. And yes, explain what it is and how you come to have it. But more than that, it's a textbook. It's a toolbox, right?
Mhm.
It's called Imposter Syndrome Survival Guide. So it's there to help you. So Andrew's like, why haven't you gone back and read your own book as a reader? Because
Yep,
because if it's meant to help people, I should be able to help myself with it, right?
one would think.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it would do you some good. Damn sure couldn't hurt.
Yeah. So he's right as usual, and I did agree that I would do that. I would fit in time to start reading it this week, and if I'm satisfied with the first chapter, I would send the first chapter to one of my beta readers just as a test. I don't have to send the whole book, right? I can just send one chapter.
It's your bar.
Yeah, it's my bar. Gotta hold myself accountable. I have to fix my own problems. Gosh, it's so much easier to fix other people's problems, isn't it?
Uh, yeah, well, yeah. No, I don't even try and do that. I can't fix other people's. You know what I do? I'm really good at asking questions. That's what I'm good at. I can't fix anybody. I had that white knight syndrome in the first relationship I was in, and that broke me.
Mm.
So now I just ask questions. That's it. That's all I can do.
Well, that
I don't
makes you a
offer
good
any.
coach.
What's that?
That makes you a good coach.
I actually used to coach. I used to coach diving and gymnastics.
Diving.
I was a college women's gymnastics team coach
Oh, wow.
for Cal Poly Pomona.
Wow, that's amazing. When you said diving, my mind went to deep sea diving, but we're
Yeah, scuba
talking
diving. No, 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 no.
diving board diving. Like,
Yep.
okay,
Platform, springboard. Yep.
that's great. So you must love swimming, I would
You know
think.
how often I get in my pool, right?
I think it
You know
depends on
what I think the problem is I miss being able to do all that stuff, and I would kill myself on my diving board.
mm.
So I kind of stay away from it a little bit, at least for the moment. But there's next summer.
Well, as we get older, we don't take as many risks as we used to, and there are many valid reasons for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I feel like I could still do some of the stuff, but some of it, and trying to define which I could do and which I couldn't is dangerous. So yeah, we'll steer clear of that for now.
It's funny because there's something to be said about muscle memory, but then also there's something to be said about your body doesn't work the same as it did 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. And I thought I could still do a cartwheel because I remember how to do a cartwheel. And I picture myself doing a cartwheel. And then I did a cartwheel and I did it, but it wasn't great. And then I was sore for like 3 days.
Well, one of the things that I still do, and I've been trying to work on it. Past couple weeks, I haven't been as good about it. I've only been once during those two weeks, once a week during those 2 weeks. But I've tried to keep my muscles at least somewhat in shape. When you get older, you lose muscle mass, and I'm trying not to do that.
You're very
Unfortunately,
consistent
I'm
about that.
keeping my fat mass as well. So
Hey, one thing at a time. You're keeping your bone density up, you're keeping your muscle mass up. You
yeah,
also
yeah,
might,
no, all that too.
it's winter time, you need the padding. That's what I'm telling myself anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but anyway, so the point is I can do a cartwheel still. I can still
I'm
do a
impressed.
cartwheel
And survive for the next 30
and
days.
survive. Yeah. I do need to stretch more. I think that's the problem. The problem is I think that's one of the problems most people have is they don't keep stretching. So even the older guys that I know that work out, they don't stretch as much as they should, which generally gets them hurt eventually. But
Probably. Yeah, that's a very valid point, and that's probably why I was so incredibly sore, is because I didn't stretch or anything. I just jumped on the trampoline a couple times, and then that was like my warm up. I jumped on the trampoline for a couple minutes, and then I just went for it. Well, that's awesome. So you have to balance your life based on the time available, and for you, you have managed to be very disciplined, at least in certain areas, right?
Mhm.
When it comes to your schedule, when it comes to work-life balance, and when it comes to sleep and prioritizing it.
Sleep is right now. Sleep is the big worry for me because it's difficult for me to get more than 3 hours a night.
Mm.
Not because I stay awake or not because I've got these really bad habits, but because I have a dog that decides he wants to go out at 3 a.m. or 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. and it's difficult to deal with that. He's a diabetic dog, so once I get the fence taken care of, I will get him a doggy door. and he'll be able to do whatever he needs to do.
Well, it's tough taking care of aging pets. I know how that can be, and not too dissimilar than taking care of aging family members. There's a lot of things that are needed and care required sometimes around the clock, which makes it challenging. And so I commend you for doing that and taking care of your pup through this tough time and as they continue to age, because so many people abandon animals when they are
Hmm.
not young and sprightly and pretty and friendly and all that. And animals are like family members in my mind. You need to adopt them for life.
Well, he's almost as neurotic as my family. Almost.
So let's see. When it comes to helping out in the community, you do a lot. And it looks to me like you're always trying to get involved and help other people raise the bar. What drives you to do that?
Oh, boredom.
Hmm?
I mean, I boredom, I guess. I don't know. I just I don't like seeing people struggle. And I know how hard it can be when you are struggling. And it doesn't matter what you're struggling with, struggling to put together a film festival, struggling to put together a play, struggling to put together your life. So a lot of what I do as far as raising the bar is personal. Like I help a lot of my friends out. I help a lot of people I don't even know that well, but just trying to help them through the next problem that they have to deal with. So I know what it's like. I mean, I had a my mom was sick when I was growing up. Um, I didn't have the family support, not because they didn't love me, but because they just couldn't do it when I was growing up. So I just try to be that little bit of stable part of, you know, whoever needs its life.
I love that. And I know you're very passionate about teaching people how to think. You and I have had many, many conversations about the need for people to learn just how to think, not what to think, but just how to do it on their own, because there's so many reasons why people aren't really thinking and they're just kind of going with the flow and going with what other people tell them these
Oh,
days.
I mean, it's too easy to stay in an echo chamber and have people nodding at you all the time. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't want that. I mean, you and I have our disagreements, and that's what I kind of thrive on that. Not because I like to argue, but because it's beneficial. It helps us to think, to get out of our own way.
Yeah.
It helps us to grow. We can't do those things if we're constantly agreeing with everybody we listen to, or everybody listens to us and agrees. I mean, that's not helpful. Not to me anyway.
Well, it's not helpful for, I mean, even in business, I teach some business classes. And one of the things when we talk about ideation and creative brainstorming is if everybody in the room is on the same page, you need to designate someone to play devil's advocate, because it's not good if everybody is in sync and thinking along the same lines and agreeing with each other, because chances are you're going to miss something and you're setting yourself up to potentially fail.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I'm watching it in corporate America now, where some companies they have these great ideas, or at least they think they're great ideas. And I would like to turn around and say, hey, have you thought about this problem? Because this is going to be a big one. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to eventually. And I don't understand where their C-level execs are. I mean, I guess at that level with some of those companies, it's just yeah, that's a good idea, board member, director,
Some people
CEO.
hire only for yes men,
I
and
know.
that's a challenge because why would you want to hire someone that only agrees with you. I just feel like that's dangerous and egotistical at least.
At least. Dangerous. It can be dangerous.
It absolutely can be dangerous. It can cost you money, it can cost you your life, even depending on the stakes of the circumstances. You know, I've worked with the military, you were in the military. You think about how if you've only got yes men that are taking orders, sometimes things go wrong and somebody should have spoken up and they didn't.
Hmm. Oh no, I've seen those situations definitely in the Army. And I see them coming up now. I mean, I see AI, for instance. You've got a whole bunch of people that are within these companies, and they're all agreeing with each other within the companies. Now, outside of the companies, you're seeing some pushback, and I think that's very good. But um, like when we're talking about some of the AI responsibilities that are, it looks like they're actually trying to work out. That just scares me to death. Just because they aren't actually discussing it the way they should, at least not the way I think they should be, but you know.
Well, the AI conversation is so scary for so many reasons. For one, you know, a lot of jobs are going to be replaced by AI, and they already are starting to be. And two, AI is not good yet. Like it does some cool stuff, and there are some very good aspects to different parts of AI. But in general, you can't rely on it. It still hallucinates. It still has a lot of gaps. It's only as good as its programming.
It's a language model. That's all it is right now.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's not learning how to correct for mistakes, at least outside of language. Which
Yeah.
and then if you think about it, well, what other languages are they programming in? What other languages are they teaching AI? Are they languages that can cross over to English? So like English is kind of a crappy language. It doesn't express things it doesn't express things succinctly in a lot of ways. And I think without taking other languages into consideration, I think AI is going to be way short because there's so many pitfalls in just a simple US sentence, through though and thought and just the way that we construct our sentences. It can
Yeah.
be confusing.
Well, and English aside, you know, I know that there are AI large language models in a lot of developing countries for sure. We know China has a huge one. We know India is working with AI. We know South Korea is working with AI. Can't speak for too many other countries because I just don't know. But I would imagine that most developing nations have their own as well. So or at least have access to like the big ones like the Google Gemini or Grok with X or I'm missing one.
That
ChatGPT.
GPT, yeah.
ChatGPT. Um, but again, I use AI for when and where it makes sense for me, and a lot of it has to do with editing. I will run things through it and say, is there a better way to say this, or can you check the grammar on this? But when it comes to writing, it's like it's very elementary. But
Yes.
I did want to jump back and just share something for the sake of expanding on what we were talking about when it comes to the need of having somebody in the room that thinks differently than you, that can ask questions and poke holes in things and look at it from a specific viewpoint. And you and I have talked before about this idea of the hats, the six thinking hats. And so I just wanted to show that and talk about it just real briefly for listeners. If you're in a situation where you're brainstorming or problem solving or team building or anything like that, and you have a group of people, if you can assign a hat to someone, and that gives them a very specific train of thought. So, like the white hat is concerned with facts, and the red hat is concerned with emotions, and the yellow hat is logic, but it's positive logic. And then you've got the negative logic, that's the black hat. So, being able to put yourself in the mindset of, well, if I only want to think about feelings, how does this impact people and how they feel and their emotions and their relationships and things of that nature? You would pick a hat and you would go deep into that. And once you get comfortable with these exercises and wearing the different hats, it will become second nature to you to be able to take one off and put another one on yourself while you're doing your own brainstorming. And it's just like anything else. The more you do it, the more comfortable you are and the easier it is.
They're all important, but I think the really important one is the blue hat. I think between that and the yellow hat, I think those are the two that I would, if you had no other choice, those were the only two. Those would be the ones I would want.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that just depends on where you come from and what your expertise is. And for you, it makes perfect sense that you would choose that because of being in IT and being very
Yeah.
process driven. Um, I like this model. This model also added an additional one with the which is the investor, the
Hmm.
owner. And that's good to think about. And I'm going to use this model going forward with this additional hat. Normally, I just stick with 6 on the left. But in any given point, you need to consider these different things, and this is a good way to do it with the
Good
quick,
way to remember.
quick
Yeah,
and easy.
definitely.
So cool. Well, Mark, this has been a really fun conversation, and I really want to thank you for being here as my guest and sharing with you or with my audience about your journey and some of the things you've gone through.
I've
Before we
enjoyed
wrap,
being here. Thanks for having me.
yeah, absolutely. Is there anything you would like to plug or share where people can check out your work?
Gangsters and Zombies. You can look that up on most streaming platforms. Should be included on Freevee at least in the next couple of weeks. And also Last Breath of Freedom. So it's a good documentary. It gives you a little bit different point of view on bike riders and not your typical gangster bike riders.
Okay.
Um, that and at some point I will get my Substack up and running, honest. But yeah. So yeah, I mean that's all I really have. You can look me up on Substack in the next few months. I'll have something up.
Awesome. Well, Mark, always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing with the world how you've raised your bar.
All right, thank you.
We'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye.